Well, happy Thursday, everybody. Pastor Steve here for our daily devotion. We are in Luke 19, so open your Bible there, get your journal out so you can take notes. And while you're doing that, want to remind everybody that this Sunday, Steve Parr is going to be speaking at First Baptist, and I am really looking forward to this. Several years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, I read a book that he co-authored called Why They Stay, which was a major research project looking at thousands of young adults who had been raised in church, then as young adults remained in church, stayed true to the faith. And what were some of the common factors in the lives of these students who grew up in church and then stayed in church as young adults? And he's going to be talking about this Sunday. And I just want to say, those of you who are parents, or you hope to be a parent one day, you need to be here and hear what he has to say. Some really important stuff. We in recent years have made some changes in how we do ministry here at First Baptist in light of what that research showed us. So I hope you'll be here. All right, Luke 19. There were two things that really stood out to me personally when I read this chapter, but I want to talk about one of them, and it's money and generosity. In Luke 19, we have the story of Zacchaeus. Remember, he was a tax collector, a short guy, and you know that song kids learn, Zacchaeus is a wee little man, etc., etc. Jesus is coming along, and he runs ahead, climbs a sycamore tree so he can see Jesus, because where he's short, he can't see over the crowd. Jesus asks him to come down from the tree and says, today I'm going to have dinner at your home. People criticize Jesus for eating with people like Zacchaeus and his friends, but nonetheless, Jesus did it. Zacchaeus gets right with God, and he says, Lord, I'm going to give half of everything I have to the poor, and if I swindled anybody, I'm going to pay them back even more than I stole from them. But I'm going to give away half of my goods to help the poor. And when I was reading that, I couldn't help but think about the previous chapter. Chapter 18, yesterday's reading. We didn't talk about it in our devotion, but in chapter 18 is the story of the rich young ruler who came to Jesus as a very good man, very religious man, sincere, had always obeyed the commandments. And Jesus said to him, one thing you lack, now go sell everything you have and give it all to the poor. And he walked away sad because he was very wealthy. And Jesus said how hard it is for those who are rich to enter the kingdom of heaven. I got to thinking, now the rich young ruler, Jesus said, sell everything, give it all to the poor. Zacchaeus volunteered on his own, Lord, I'm going to give half of what I have away. Two different amounts. One gave away half, one was asked to give away everything. Two different percentages, two different amounts. And I got to thinking about that. And what I realized is this. The issue is not giving away 50% or 100%. The issue is the heart and generosity. The issue is, do you love God or do you love money? Well, you say, I love God. The evidence of loving God is a generous heart. Saying I love God, but I don't want to give, or I'm just going to give a little bit, or I'm just going to tip, there's a disconnect there. Because the greater you love for God, the more easily it is for you to be generous. And I think, biblically, the tithe is not the finish point, it's the starting point. That true generosity, especially for those who have more than most, true generosity goes well beyond the tithe. So the issue is not 10%, 50%, 100%, because biblically it all belongs to God anyway. Not a dime is yours, and you're going to find that out when you die. The issue is, do you love God enough to be really, really generous, or do you love money even though you say you love God, and the result is you just don't give. You're not generous. That's the question that each and every one of us need to answer. What's your answer? I'll see you tomorrow.